Something has changed about my approach to all media lately, and that is that I don't ever look at reviews anymore. Not for games, not for movies, music, books, TV, whatever media that I'm about to consume. I try to avoid reviews and critical opinions like the plague. And if you're anything other than like a professional gamer or like completely content-driven individual, you shouldn't either. Let's chat about that. Now, this is a mindset and an approach that has come to me over time. I wasn't always like this. I would read reviews and look at critical opinion and watch review videos of like new games and movies and stuff before going to see them because I was interested to see what the consensus was. But recently, and as I've adopted and accepted the fact that I really am a casual and I can't take all of this stuff as seriously as I would like to, I typically find a stark difference between my opinion of the things that I really enjoy the most and a lot of the critical review and opinions of those things. Does that just mean that I like shitty stuff? Maybe, I don't know, but I don't think that's always the case. So it's not my profession to pick these forms of art apart and have these strong opinions about every piece of media that I consume. If I like it, I'm gonna like it. If I don't like it, I'm not gonna like it.
Okay.
But I've experienced some specific examples lately of consuming media with this mindset, not looking at reviews, not looking at critical opinion of them, enjoying them fully, and then afterwards, just out of curiosity, seeing what the general consensus on these things have been. And to my surprise, or I guess I shouldn't be that surprised, negativity kind of wins more often than not. And those reviews or opinions are in large part direct contrast to the opinions that I held about this thing that I enjoyed.
Never done a space, I can't even moonwalk.
So with all that in mind, I wanted to talk today about why reading reviews, or at least poring over lots of reviews before getting into a piece of content or literature or whatever that you're interested in, isn't a good idea and might actually taint an experience that would have normally been super positive into something that meets your expectations based on what you read. So the first reason that poring over reviews and critical appeal of any piece of content before consuming it is not a good idea is that reviews are typically written by critics, not casuals, or you wouldn't even have to necessarily claim to be a casual, just a regular person. Critics look for flaws. That's their job. My wife and I watched Solo Leveling this year for the first time, and we were completely blown away. The visuals, the music, the story. For us, what was a unique take on a protagonist story. Insane battles, the absurd strength scaling of that protagonist just had us absolutely hooked and floored. So what do a lot of other folks have to say about the show, especially people who are much more exposed to anime than my wife and I are? It's basically in and out, decently good fast food, but at the end of the day, it's still fast food. The best way I can describe it is generic done right. Very shallow characters and plot. Art is the only thing that it has going for it, in my opinion. Is it good? Short answer, no. And this guy, after reading some of these comments, says, well, you make it sound so lame, I definitely not want to watch now, LOL. And again, I'm not this massive connoisseur of anime. I don't have this incredibly long backlog of animes that I've watched. I'm speaking to the people who want to experience new things. Had I read those reviews before starting Solo Leveling, I probably would have thought to myself, well, it's not worth the time. Some people say it's kind of cool, but all of these people say it's super lame. They seem to know what they're talking about, so meh. So the point of this point is to remember that a critic's job is to find flaws where they exist. Your job is to enjoy what you want to enjoy. Sometimes critics can get in the way of that. Directly related to point number one, point number two is that reviews and critics can create false expectations. Once you know the score, the review of a piece of content or a game,
Are you serious right now?
when you indulge in that piece of content or game, that number, those words, they're gonna stay in the back of your mind. It is just human nature to remember and focus on the negative aspects of the information that we take in. And it can be really hard to eliminate that negativity even after having a positive experience with something. My personal example here, which was, again, a case study in my avoidance of reviews, allowing me to really dive in and enjoy a piece of content. I listened to Project Hail Mary, and I loved it. I had a great time. I had a blast. I thought it was spectacular. I thought the story was well executed. I loved the lightness and the comedy sprinkled throughout all these serious situations.
So I met an alien. He's kind of growing on me. At least he's not growing in me, you know?
I really loved all of the like stretched out math sequences, even though I understood maybe a third of it at most. So then after I finished the book for the heck of it, again, to kind of test my theory here, I went and read some reviews. And there were a lot of good reviews. This is a pretty renowned and well-liked book. But when you're looking at review sites or on Steam or whatever, usually there will be negative reviews sprinkled into the flood of positivity, even if that's the case. And again, what's the human brain best at? Spotting and remembering negativity, because bad equals danger. So a lot of people found the pacing of the story dragged down by the math. They thought the silliness of the protagonist was a bit too much, and they just believed that the trope of that astronomically low shot of humanity's survival was a little bit played out. I never once had this thought while listening to the book myself before reading these reviews. I don't entirely disagree with those points, but the main point here is, had I read those reviews beforehand, they would have been exacerbated, magnified, and focused upon while I listened to the story. Maybe I would have gotten halfway through, experienced a long math equation or a dumb science joke, and then been like, this is kind of stupid, it's not for me. So the point of this point is that expectations kill immersion. Reading too many or the wrong reviews can pre-color your experience and change what could have been an excellent experience of something that you might have loved into something that's just blah. And point number 3 is that your average person's experience with a piece of content, it's not measurable objectively. Reviews take on one subjective view, and that is the view of the person leaving the review. I just said view way too many times. There are all kinds of different critics and reviews out there, whether it's from your, just general population person leaving a review on Steam, or whether it's like IGN or GameSpot or whatever the case may be, especially with those bigger reviewing groups. In the case of video games, like your casual gamer, which is really like 75 to 85% of all of humanity that plays games, we're in it for the accessibility of the game, the pacing, the comfort, the vibes, fast fun. We want to turn it on, we want to have dopamine, we want to have a good time. Critics or reviewers or people who love to leave reviews on stuff, they're in it to find the flaws. They're in it to find the good stuff too, but they're searching for conversation pieces to put into their video, to put into their review, to put into their opinion of the game that's going to make them sound like the authority and the source that you should trust. And again, what's more attention grabbing than a little bit of negativity sprinkled in there? Critics may be getting paid to leave these reviews, and if that's their job, then yeah, they should do that. I'm not saying that all critics and reviewers suck. I'm just saying I'm not going to listen to what they have to say. In the last 2 expansions of WoW, I've had tons of fun. There's issues with the games, of course, and I've talked extensively about that over the last several videos. But if I were to really focus on the noise of the critical consensus of all of the negative things about the game, I would probably start losing interest in doing all the things in the game that I enjoy doing. So the point of this point is there's no objective score for the subjective joy that a piece of media might bring an individual. So now, what do? Do you just go into every game completely blind? Do we see a game trailer, think it might look a little interesting, shut out everyone's opinion and just buy it and try it and maybe regret that decision? I don't think so. Even in saying all that I've said about reviews and avoiding them and not listening to the noise, there's a couple sources that I trust. There's a couple individuals whose review videos I will watch every time, and I try to keep it to that one. You could also just find some gameplay footage and watch that raw. See if there's something about the game that resonates with you. And finally, sometimes it can be a good idea to go in blind. If you see a trailer for a game or a movie that looks really interesting to you, if you've heard about a book and you really want to give it a try, just do it and see how your experience differs once you've finished that piece of media upon looking at reviews versus how that might have gone for you had you looked at the reviews prior. A review or information that somebody else provides to me about a game or experience doesn't get to decide whether or not I'm going to enjoy that and enjoy spending my time in that. I do. I'm the only one that gets to decide whether or not World of Warcraft is currently fun. I'm the only one that gets to decide if Solo Leveling is a great anime. I'm the only one that gets to decide if Interstellar is the best movie of all time. Because if I were to listen to the haters, are you actually kidding me with this? Oh, shut up. Shut up. Fuck you. Oh, fuck you. You're wrong.
Preposterous, sterile, intellectual, poorly constructed, cliche, impenetrably masculine, goofy, and possessed of an indecipherable ending. Interstellar is the mother of all misfires.
All right, Ryan, I don't like you. I don't like you at all. You're a bad person, and I hope I never meet you, Ryan. So tell me, what is a piece of content, a game, a song, an album, a restaurant, a movie, whatever, something that you've consumed that you've enjoyed much, much more than its critical appeal would suggest would have been the case? What's the situation in which you've said, fuck you, reviewer, you're wrong, this is great, and tell me why? Water, protein, sleep. See ya.